Having died over and over and over again in Build 42, I haven't quite had the chance to experience the helicopter event in quite a while. So today we are setting ourselves a very simple goal to survive the helicopter event. We're going to fortify our base, ready for the helicopter event, all whilst having to deal with zombies, bandits, bad driving and our own stupidity. So if you do enjoy today's video, make sure you like and subscribe so that I know that you want to see more content like this. Our first day begins by spawning in Echo Creek, looting our spawn house, and immediately heading down the road into town to hopefully try and find a vehicle. Whilst walking into town, we stumble across a cemetery and a church, where we're greeted by this beautiful, beautiful ambulance. We clear the zombies around it, check the front for fuel and loot the back for medical supplies. Upon discovering that there is no fuel in it, we continue our journey into town to hopefully find the gas station. Continuing the walk into Echo Creek, we stumble across a few zombies, we loot a few houses, and we stumble across this purple van. Inside this van, we find a very, very nice treat that definitely will not bite us in the arse later on. We also discover a decent bit of ammunition, but we can't really carry that right now, so we've got to come back for it later. And last but not least, we found a wonderful gas can, which is quite perfect considering we're going to need one to bring fuel back to the ambulance. So we continue our walk into town, clearing a couple more zombies on the way, and we fill up our gas can and begin walking back to the newfound ambulance. Whilst walking back, we decide that it is an absolutely genius idea to test out our new toy. Oh shit! Oh fuck, I didn't mean to do that. I was gonna hopefully hold on to that. Motherfucker. Despite our little cock up causing us to have to hobble everywhere, we get to the ambulance, fill it up, and drive to the step van so we can grab the ammunition crates out of the back of it. We then head into the centre of town to finish refuelling the ambulance, and we loot the gas station itself, grabbing a few snacks for the road. Whilst we're in here, we see a sign that I've never seen before, for a hostile camp. Deciding that we're not in the greatest of condition, I get back in the car and drive away, hoping to avoid any conflict with the bandits. Given that we're not in a position to be fighting much of anything, I decide that instead of trying to clear out any more areas today, we just drive around the map and scout out potential base locations. We pull into what looks to be a furniture store until we see a hostile assault from the direction that we've just driven from. Curious, I turn around and see 3 men running across a field. Now there's only really one thing I can do in this situation, and that's start driving. Run them over! There's fucking bandits! After looting up the bandits' corpses, we stop off at a few houses to try and find some shelter for the approaching night. While looting a house of its food, nails and tools, I decide that we can't go on any further and sleep here, and hope that we'd be a bit more healed tomorrow. We were awoken on day 2 rudely by the sound of an alarm going off downstairs. We quickly go down the stairs, find the stopwatch, turn off the alarm, and begin reading and watching Life and Living. However, we are anticipating the helicopter event, so I don't want to waste any time. Before leaving, we decide to check the basement. We go down the stairs expecting to see some horrific scene. However, we're met by a lot of boxes and a cabinet. So we get back in the ambulance and continue to drive around, scouting out a few potential bases. Unknowingly, I head into Ekron and spot the fire station, which would be very useful later on. But not wanting to deal with the zombie population, I head out of town down a different road, hoping to map out more of the map. We stumble across this cabin on the drive, and for some reason, I decide to unload all of my stuff. We continue driving around all day, and I stumbled across a fenced-in house next to Ekron. Scouting out, I decide it seems safe enough to live for the time being, so we go back to the cabin, grab all of the stuff. It was too late to drive back in the dark, so we read the book and spent the night at the cabin. To start out on day 3, we wake up super late, so we scramble to pack all of our stuff and head to our new home. Arriving back at the new house, we have a quick look around and decide that this looks sick, and we unpack. By the time we finished unpacking, it's already past 6 PM, so in order to rest up a bit more, we just spend the rest of the night reading. We begin day 4 with the rain pouring outside, but at least we've mostly healed. We can now walk properly. So we pull out of the house in our ambulance and immediately crash. I'm a fucking idiot, you know. Despite this minor setback, we continue to head down the road, stopping at this huge mansion. Using the rain to our advantage, I sneak inside and begin to check the ground floor for zombies, hoping that we don't get caught off guard while we're looting. I loot the kitchen, I loot the library, but the real prize is here. After stocking up on our very essential items, I spend my early afternoon towing this sports car back to the house, just in case I somehow trash the ambulance. We arrive home to some unexpected guests, a bride and a groom who appear to have just got married, Oh, hello! I invited both of them to follow me into the house, and they were moving a bit clunky, opening windows, meaning I had to shut them, and just walking aimlessly around in the rain. So firstly I lured the groom outside and beat him to death with my hammer. Fortunately the bride was just inside so she didn't see this. I definitely didn't just kill your husband. When we both went inside, I pushed the bride, meaning to swing for her, but she ended up stabbing me instead. I left the room waiting for her to follow so that I could beat her with the hammer too. Killing two completely and utterly innocent people was absolutely exhausting for me and my character, so I decided that was enough for the day, opting to read and wait until the next day before venturing outside again. But before I could sleep, I had a couple more intruders in the house that I had to sort out. Between playing days 4 and 5, I looked on the online Build 42 interactive map and had seen just how out of the way of everything our new house was. Even to get to Ekron, which is right over here, we have to go all the way around. I decided to take the sports car out to scout out a better house. Whilst on this journey, I stop off at Ekron fire station to get an axe. Using the fog to hide the zombies, we snuck in, drawing minimal attention. However, that didn't last too long before zombies started surrounding us and breaking down the doors and windows. We grab a hatchet and a fire axe before quickly escaping and getting back to our car. We stop off by a house and go inside to loot the basement and the kitchen. We get jumped by a zombie, so we clear that off before deciding to head back to our base. I should be banned from driving. I continued driving and came across some bandits on the side of the road. I dealt with them and somehow made it to where would become our new home. I cleared the immediate surroundings of zombies and headed inside to clear there too. After clearing the zombies inside, I had a short look around before being interrupted by more bandits outside. I dealt with them and began heading back to the other house to grab all of our stuff, until my excellent driving skills came in clutch again. I dumped everything I didn't need in the car and began walking towards the old house. After spending hours walking back, we finally arrived and loaded up the ambulance. Not learning my lesson from the sports car, I got cocky from driving and, well... Oh, mate. I walked home, defeated, and decided that this was tomorrow's problem. Having trashed both of our cars, we would have to walk to Ekron to get another one. If this doesn't go well, we'd have no way of getting back home safely. On day 6, we're getting very close to the helicopter event. In order to do anything to bolster our defences, we urgently need a car. So the best course of action right now is to walk into town and find one. After a few hours of scouting, clearing houses, walking across fields, through forests and down long roads, finding an animal trailer on the way, we finally arrive at Ekron, which doesn't seem as busy as expected. We find a small Chevalier Dart and fill it up and take it off into Ekron to try and scout out the town a bit more. I look into the town centre and see a blue truck that absolutely tickles my fancy. We break in, hotwire it, and drive off our way without our new little sports car. I weave my way through the woods to the old house and grab something I forgot last time. My boxes of nails, which would be quintessential to properly defending our home from the helicopter event. On the way home, we stop off at the ambulance to grab some of the loot that we had to leave behind last time, and the trailer that we had seen on the walk to Ekron. We got home, unpacked, went to bed, anticipating a physically demanding day tomorrow. We begin day 7, hoping that the helicopter event doesn't come and ruin our day. But we don't let any of this bog us down, we get straight to work. Realising that we didn't have a saw, I headed out to a nearby house to look for one. Fortunately, when we looked in the shed, we found one there. We grabbed some planks we'd already had, we saw some more with some logs that we've got lying around, and we used the nails that we gathered to barricade the entire bottom floor of windows, hoping that it'll at least delay the zombie hordes whilst I escape. We put a sheep rope down so we don't take any damage while jumping, because I really don't want to injure myself again. Wanting a greater understanding of my bearings and hoping to find a potential safe house away from the incoming horde of zombies, we got in the car and drove over towards Brandenburg, hoping to use my position between both Ekron and there to gather more supplies and scout out equipment to use in the new skills. We found another gas station at the entrance of Brandenburg and we filled up, and then we headed back and saved the exploring for another day. But on the way home, I ran over a few deer, grabbed them, took them home, thinking there's no point for any of this good food to go to waste. Day 8. Could today be the day? It'll either be today or tomorrow. However, I don't feel that there's a whole lot more I can do at this point, except get more firepower. So we reached the centre of Ekron, where I was met with more zombies than I was anticipating. We get out the car and begin clearing them, as it felt never ending. So we decided to speed things up a little bit, and drove over them. We used the same strategy we had for the bandits and just multiplied it by 100. After using my expert ingenuity to clear the zombies, we looted the bookstore before moving on to the gun store. Clearing a few more zombies outside, we enter and grab all the 9mm ammo we can. There's not much point in me grabbing any ammo for other guns because we can't use them yet due to our low aiming skill. So we get in the car and we head back home. On the way home, I spot a red van parked at the side of the road. We decide that this would be a much better vehicle to loot with, so we get in, hotwire it, and tow the blue truck home. And now as much as I'm slow, I'm moving. And everything is going swimmingly until I hear... The pressure is now on. I couldn't go straight home because I'd bring any zombies that were tagging along with me. So I decided that the best course of action was to just keep driving. I was slow enough as it is, but hopefully it was fast enough for me to evade any zombies. After driving around for a few hours, I noticed that not very many zombies had begun following me. So we decided that the best course of action was to be risky and go straight home. Almost poetically, as I was arriving home, the helicopter finally left us. And just like that, the helicopter event was over. I was expecting hordes upon hordes of zombies, but I guess, as I'm in a rural area, there weren't many zombies to bring over. Now, as much as a helicopter isn't a threat anymore, it doesn't mean that zombies are our only enemies.